Hello, my friends. My name is Ryan Freeman. Welcome to Shabbaran Park. It is Sakura season, so there is a lot of people here. There's a lot of noise, and there are police here. When I pulled up to the main entrance, which normally you do not have to pay to enter Shabbaran Park. It is a massive park with lots of playgrounds, hiking trails, barbecues for picnics, benches, little nooks where you can tuck yourself away at, tennis courts. It is by far my favorite park here in Southern California, where I live. And the nice thing on the weekdays is you don't have to pay, but today you had to pay because it is Sakura season, and there were police by the entrance. Now that sort of upset me. I want to qualify my relationship with the police before I go on, because there are a lot of people out there who hate the police categorically, and there are some people who love the police categorically, and then there are people in the middle who have a more nuanced view based on their experiences and who they know and what they know. So I'm one of those guys. I grew up in the 90s listening to Tupac, Dr. Dre, NWA, Ice Cube. So I sort of had, that fuck the police mentality, even though I was like a Christian white guy. And then my father, not the best citizen. He ended up having a little run-in with the police when I was 20 years old that gave me a negative light. That was actually sheriffs. Then I had an unfortunate encounter when I was 26-ish, 27-ish, where I was just driving home, coming home from Knott's Berry Farm, and I was wet from Bigfoot Rapids, and the police pulled me over and really harassed me in my own town. So I sort of had this, the influence from the hip hop that I was listening to in the 90s. Then I had this thing that happened with my dad, then this thing that happened with me. I had one good encounter with the police, but I sort of had this and then I'm also, I think the temperament that I really don't like authority, whether it's parents or bosses or principals. So I just sort of always had a bit of apprehension around the cops. And now I know that not all cops are bad, not all cops are good, and there are good people and bad people in every profession. And then, of course, we've had a lot about the police in our media. If you watch Fox News, they're always praising the police. If you watch other news channels, sometimes they're putting them in a more disparaging light, especially in terms of racial relations and violence. And I'm not trying to say any of that is not true. I'm not trying to say that I understand police any better than you do. But all of us have our experiences, and so I'm going to share this. So I arrive at the park, and I see the police, and I have to pay, and I started to assume that they were there to sort of enforce paying to enter the park. I don't like paying to enter parks, so I parked on a side street. My wife suggested maybe they're here to make sure that no one drinks alcohol, because in Sakura season in Japan, it's largely a really big drinking festivity. People will go to the park in the daytime, at night, sometimes all night, and drink alcohol while enjoying the Sakura season. In America, obviously, drinking alcohol in the park is a big no-no. It's heavily enforced, perhaps in some parks, not so much in others. And I think for the most part, police are pretty chill. They're not going to come up and check what's in your cup unless you're actually acting a fool. But we all have prejudices, okay? Whether we admit it or not. And I sort of had this or we have opinions. And I sort of had this opinion or this view that police are bad. I don't want to be around them. One extra point of data, police helicopters. They fly around my neighborhood sometimes. They're actually sheriff helicopters. And they annoy the fuck out of me. I hate listening to helicopters swarming the air zones above me. In any case, I arrived at the park, see these police, and I started to go about my preconceived notions that they're here to stop me from enjoying my day. They're this authoritarian father figure watching me, making sure I don't break the rules. And it just sets me on edge. And I hate being set on edge. I came to the park in a delightful mood. And when I saw the police, when I saw that they were charging to enter the park, I'm an emotional guy. I can fly to good moods and bad moods too quickly. Not enough equilibrium, perhaps. And also, I should mention this, that I stopped smoking marijuana a couple days ago. and I have had insomnia. So whenever I have had very little sleep for a few days straight, it does affect my my mood. So I don't know, that's definitely in the system. And actually, after this video, I'm going to do a video about stopping marijuana, my thoughts on it, and all of that. But back to the police. So, you know, I'm in this mood. Are they going to make me wear a mask? Are they going to make sure my dog's on the leash? Are they going to make sure I'm not drinking alcohol, even though I don't have alcohol, but just the idea bothers me? All of these things are running through my head. And of course, you know, if you studied the Buddha or meditation, you know, sometimes a lot of our problems aren't actually problems in the external world. It's just these internal dialogues that run around our head, giving us this impression that we have problems that actually do not exist. So, fuck it. I'm going to go to the side of the park where, away from the Sakura, away from the police. So I'm coming, I've got my hands full, I've got blankets, sleeping bags, because I plan to sleep, because if I can, from this insomnia. I've got a huge chair, tripod, I got a dog, and I'm walking up, I find the spot under this tree, it looks nice, and I see a police car pull right up. He sees me, he's coming up a dirt road, sees me bust a bitch, and comes around and swings over to me. And it's like, I haven't had an encounter with the police in a long time. More than half of my encounters have been somewhat negative. You know, anytime that you have an encounter with someone with a gun, things could happen, potentially. Oh, and you know, I've got long hair and a mustache that's wild and hair. Do I look like a decent guy? Depends on your version of a decent guy. So, he pulls out, he's got a mustache. He's got a bigger mustache and a more impressive mustache than I do. By the way, if it looks like my teeth are dirty, it's not actually the truth. It's just my hairs are coming into my mouth. I don't know what I'm going to do with this mustache, but the cop with the mustache that looked very well trimmed, I should have asked him what his advice would be, gets out of his car, and he asks me, he says, have you been harassing? He actually was, there was a tension, you know, when you feel tense and then the other guy feels tense. Sometimes you feel tense because the other guy feels tense. So I'm not sure if he was tense because I was tense or I was tense because he was tense. I was just tense because a police car just pulled up next to me under a tree, you know, and I had all of these ideas in my head. But he asked me if I was going around any Tai Chi group. And I was like, nah, dude, I just got here. I just parked there. That's my wife and baby coming up. We're just here to chill. And he sees my little beautiful Japanese wife wearing a sexy dress, spring dress, carrying my gorgeous 1-year-old. And immediately the tension was gone from him. And he's like, oh, okay, it's not you. And I was like, oh, that felt good. Oh, God. I was just, you know, I had these ideas running through my head so often. I think so many of our human problems are caused not necessarily from the facts of the matter, but from our imagination. And more of that will come in this marijuana video shortly in the next video. So after the tension is diffused, he realizes I'm not the guy. I inquire, I say, so what's going on? Is there a guy with, and I look like a guy who might be doing Tai Chi? I've got this like Asian garment and I've got long hair. You know, Asians used to have long hair. I don't know if that makes any sense. But he tells me there's a white guy with long hair, real scruffy looking, harassing a Tai Chi group. Another cop car pulls up. Nice clean cut white guy, blonde hair. Oh, it's not the guy? Oh, okay. And they were cool, and we talked a little bit, and I had a very nice feeling with them, and I was so glad that they actually stopped me. Normally, it's the last thing I want is a police to stop me, because of my preconceived notions of them, from hip-hop, from my father, from my own encounter. By the way, my father totally deserved whatever treatment he got from the cops. He was a fucking asshole. So I recant my former feelings on that. But I was so glad because when I sat down and when I was picking out this spot right before they appeared, I was actually thinking I was going to talk about police. I was going to talk about my problems with them, the things I didn't like about them. I was going to talk about the police state. And then after that encounter, after that positive encounter, I'm just so grateful that, I'm sure there are a lot of bad police out there, but these guys were good guys. You could feel it, ne? I mean, I said ne. That means like, Me and my wife say that. It's in Japanese. Ne, you know what I mean? Sorry. They are good guys. I really felt that. They were not out to harass normal people. They were really looking for a scruffy guy with long hair. I really believe that, It wasn't like they were making up a story, which is always possible. And of course I don't know that, but that was my gut feeling. When you can really look into the eyes and the face of another human being, and you can see that they're human, regardless of the uniform they're wearing, regardless of their appearance, regardless of their identity. You see that's another human. That recognition. It was a beautiful encounter with the cops, and it was the last thing I wanted, but I think it was the thing I needed. This might be a little spiritual or mystical or whatever, but I often do feel that you get what you need in life. Even the bitter pills that you don't want to swallow, or the catastrophe that you wish to prevent. Sometimes these all seek to set you on the right course. I'm reminded of the biblical story of Jonah and the whale. God had a plan for Jonah, or Jonah and the fish. And he kept trying to get out of God's will, stay away from his destiny, and you know what happens. He eventually gets swallowed and has to carry on with God's purpose. Now, I'm not trying to convert you or say that God wants you to go to Nineveh and preach their destruction or anything like that, and sit under a gourd tree for shade and smite it. I mean, it's a very funny story if you ever read Jonah's story. But I do believe, actually, that there is some Tao, some flow, some creator, some soul, some spirit, some intellect greater than our own, at least greater than our conscious mind. Whether it exists outside or in us or both, or if there's even a difference, I don't know. But it felt, it's like a feeling of beauty and tranquility and peace when you have these moments where it's the thing you dread, but it's the thing you need the most, and it fixes you. And that's what happened with these police. So I'm thankful we have police, because there are assholes. My wife has been harassed here before. She was here with our child 4 months ago when the corona craze was in full swing, and some old Chinese woman started badgering her and harassed her and said, "You shouldn't be here with your child." And it's like, what the fuck are you doing here? Children, particularly babies, are the safest from the coronavirus according to official statistics, and you old bitch, are in the danger group. They're stupid people, and having cops as sort of a buffer between stupid people is a good thing. There was also an old Chinese guy I saw a few months ago that was badgering a homeless guy who was sleeping peacefully, not bothering anyone, under a tree. And I don't know what it was, but he came around just with this arrogant air, and he looked like he was going to come up to my wife or me, and I sort of radiated this like, dude, if you come up here, I'm gonna fuck you up. I've got jujitsu skills that I have never used in the public, and I don't plan to. But there was this asshole old Chinese guy trying to harass. No, he could have been Korean. I'm sorry. I'm assuming he was Chinese. Asian guy, but it's predominantly Chinese here. Oh, I'm so racist, God. Okay, he was an Asian guy. Sorry about that. But he was harassing this homeless guy, and then he was on his way to harass us when I put out this energy, and he just went bang. Proof that everything is a feeling, right? When you feel someone's tension, when you feel someone's love, when you feel someone's warmth. Not proof, but anecdotal proof, which is all I have to work with. The experiences of my own life. All right, I've sort of gone off topic, but I just wanted to say that encountering the police was the last thing I wanted, and it was the thing that I needed the most, and it was a beautiful experience. I know that there's police out there that are probably problems, and I know there are a lot of good police, and I know there's a lot of feelings about the police. I'm not trying to say you should change yours, and my story is just another story out there, and I wanted to share it because it was actually beautiful. It's always reaffirming, you know. It's like we have these ideas of government, and when you get caught up in ideas or ideologies or theories, government is good for this X, Y, and Z, government is bad for X, Y, and Z. It's like a religion, you know. It's a part of you that you didn't get from life, but that you got from just thinking, thoughts, words. But then when you actually meet when you actually have an experience with the government, and it's a positive experience, or it's a negative experience, then that's something more real and tangible. And having this experience with the police was a tangible, positive experience that I wanted to share out there. Thank you, police officers. Thank you for keeping the park safe. Oh, and on that Tai Chi guy, the reason I think it might be true is there's a scruffy-looking guy with long hair doing Tai Chi that I've seen a couple times. He's actually, this is weird. A week ago, I went to my normal spot on the other side of the park where I do a lot of my videos, and there's a tree that I pee behind. Not supposed to pee behind the tree, and I'm always worried about cops catching me. But there's no restrooms. There's a restroom, but it's locked up because of COVID. So what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna show myself in public, but it's very discreet. And I went to that spot, and there was this long hair, scruffy looking guy who does Tai Chi. This is the second time I met him, peeing behind the same exact tree. And he was older than me, and I thought, how weird is that? How weird is that? That another long-haired dude who's into martial arts, I'm not a Tai Chi guy, I do jiu-jitsu, is peeing behind the same damn tree. Weird. Life's strange. Okay. Thank you, police. Thanks for keeping the park safe. If you catch me peeing behind a tree, I apologize. Don't bust me. I'm not harassing anyone. Live and let live. Bye-bye.